Fine.
Department head, legal.
Oh, did you do the Merit Center? Is it? Was it?
Yeah, hopefully nobody else brings it.
You talking about the window?
Really?
It's just a quarter-inch thick. It weighs probably, I don't know, 50
We gotta keep those inmates in.
Yeah.
I ain't beating their way out of those.
Okay. Okay, we'll go ahead and bring the Board of Works meeting to order. Were you given a chance to read the minutes from the previous meeting on 4/19?
Yes. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll second. Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Contingent driver.
Opposed, same sign.
Big brother, big sister.
Okay. Jeremy, that's the quote from 13th and Bowman.
Quote from the work at 13th and Bowman was about 3 times or better higher than what we were anticipating. It was received under a sealed quote. It's actually higher than the amount that requires for a sealed bid, so regardless of if we want to do the work or not, we need to reject it. And then we'll be meeting with redevelopment tomorrow to discuss some options.
Who's sending the bid? Brooks? Okay.
The engineer's estimate was like 53,000 and
Yeah.
back at 164.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's market, and I just, Brooks wasn't even the general, they had a sub, and it was, I don't think they're really looking for work. So I am talking with another contractor that's very interested in it.
It's mostly stabilization and there's some curb ramps, but so it's.
So hopefully in the next day or two I hear something from that other contractor and we can try to work with them to get something accomplished here.
Good. So, do we need to make a motion to reject the bid?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to reject the bid. Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Well, Jeremy, while stay up here.
Go pick some money up here, drop on the floor.
Oh, falling out of your pocket.
Actually, I think it's Bob's. I'm not just gonna take it.
Yeah, just put it in your pocket.
Okay, you got sanitation services you want to talk about?
All right. We've had several discussions on the carts. What I'd like to do tonight is just openly talk about it here for a few minutes, talk about where we're at, where we need to be. With the increases right now, with the fuel the way it's going, I think we may want to make a decision here sooner than later and get the carts at least ordered. We wouldn't have to take them for a little while if we didn't choose to, but once we do have the funding secured, I really think it'd be in our best interest to get them ordered. So basically, what we did 2 weeks ago is we tracked all of our recycling pickups, the curb pickups. And what we were really anticipating on was around 1,200 stops. I had Lisa count the ones that were not out that are normally out, just so we had a good idea.
Okay.
Surprisingly, we only ended up to like 784, I believe, which I think once we implement this change, that will grow. So, we're really deducting, a good possibility of deducting the amount of recycling carts that we're going to need to purchase right off. I did research another cart company. Just watching this cart, and Dan and Tyler was there when we did the truck demo. It sure seemed like it was really squeezing that cart pretty tight. If you look at the wall's pretty somewhat flimsy, or not really flimsy, but
Thinner.
thinner than what our other option is.
Mm-hmm.
This is called Cascade cart. It's just a manufacturer. It's a thinner wall cart. I have a little concern with the Cascade cart in the winter months with the thinner wall. They get a bunch of water in it, or they're squeezing it. The salesman at the Toter says that he sees a lot of Cascade carts start to crack up in here. You know, it's like anything else. Once you get a crack, it's going to keep going. The Toter carts, though, are between $8 and $10 more per cart, depending on what size you get. But you get an additional 2-year warranty. So you have a 10-year warranty on a Cascade cart. You have a 12-year warranty on a Toter. So really, you know, it's not a whole lot of difference. It's more of the upfront money. But keep in mind, with the recycle carts needed, we're going to be bringing that down. It looks like probably our biggest differences between the two companies is going to be the shipping cost. This one's relatively close. Toter's a little further away. So that's the one point I wanted to make. The other point is, you know, we really need to probably decide on cart sizes, what we're going to allow, what we're not going to allow. This right here is what you see in most communities. This is a 90-gallon cart. Probably put Bob in there and close the lid. But they're very bulky, they're very large, especially if you don't have a family that's got 2, maybe 3 people at the most. That's an option. That's like a $60 cart.
And what is it with Toter? 70?
No, they're 60s. They're the same thing other than a very small cart.
Okay.
This is a 64. I've actually taken this one home for the last 3 weeks just to see what a family of 4 that recycles about everything, what we could get in there. The first week it was about 3/4 full. Last week it wasn't even half full. And that was myself, my wife, my 2 daughters. So, and this one here is, they don't offer this a whole lot, but this is a 35. Toter doesn't offer a 35, but they offer a 45. So it's a little bit larger. It's 10 gallon more. It's a little bit larger. You know, I think it's important that we probably decide on one size of cart and then have the possibility of a smaller cart if you get a single person, a widow that only throws a couple bags out. If you wanted to offer that, you know, you could offer them this and a 45. So basically, you're here or there. If you like the bulkiness of it, this doesn't really promote much recycling because you just stuff it full. This would promote a little bit more recycling. It all depends on what you want to see at the end of the day.
So these are only for recycling?
No.
It's a trash can. They would just have a different colored lid on top.
Okay.
Or
Gotcha.
you can do a different colored can. I'd prefer just to
Okay.
put a yellow lid on the recycling. That way it looks uniform.
Okay.
So, you know, I know some families out there that would fill this up no problem. I know the majority of the families out there probably would.
Would or would not?
Would not. Currently, your ordinance says 6 bags or 2 30-gallon cans. So you can have 2 30-gallon cans out there, 60, and fill them up 3 bags each, or throw 6 bags out there on the ground.
That one's 30.
This one's 64. This one's 35. So if you want a toter, this would be 45.
No, you can have 6 bags or two of those size right now.
2 of the little size.
Yeah, you can have 2 of those. That would hold 2 30-gallon there.
If you think about it, like a normal kitchen trash can is 13. It's a 13-gallon.
Yep, and we do run
I don't know.
across a lot of villas and stuff where they're putting like a couple Walmart stocks out. Or just like one white trash can. You know, you're not always going to have that. But, you know, we do recognize that, and I'm just bringing it to your attention, you know, $60-some, or if you offer them where they can get around a little bit nicer, that's probably a 30-gallon can. I know once we switch to this, we're probably going to catch a little bit of grief from people that have been buying cans, but if you ever buying trash cans lately, these are far cheaper than what you're buying at Walmart and everywhere else. You know, there's people I hear out there that are spending $100 a year in cans or more.
Right, which that does away with that.
Correct. So what I'd like to do is be able to order enough when the time comes for trash and, you know, at a minimum, get enough for the recycling plus a little bit, because if you pick a can and the people are not getting everything in the can, they're going to have to go to a second can, or they're going to have to start recycling. You know, within reason, we can jump out and get a bag or so, but I don't want the guys jumping out and trying to pick up a whole pile of trash bags.
No, we're going to get away from that. That's the whole idea.
That was the whole point with this, so.
What do you like, Tyler? You got a little larger family than me.
Yeah, that one's going to be tight, but if we offer a little bit discounted rate, you can have 2 of them. I don't think everybody wants that size.
The big one?
Yeah, I mean, that one would be tougher. We recycle, but I have one that size now, and the lid's open on the...
Matt?
My family could fill the middle one with trash and recycle every week.
So you're saying your family would use 2 of those?
Yep.
Okay.
You 3 won't come along.
If it was trash and recycle every week, we would fill those 2.
Yeah. And I think that was the thought going.
People are going to think this is too big in the garage.
So me personally, I'm thinking that same size recycling and trash, and then maybe if we wanted to pick up a few of those for the older people that don't want to deal with.
Let me ask, we have a couple here from the public. What's your guys'
That's a
thoughts?
question.
First I have a question. I get medication, and it comes in a 2x2 box, and it's foam filled, so the foam is attached to the box. And the medicine that is about this big and about this, but comes in a 2x from the manufacturer. What am I going to do with that box? It won't fit in any of those. So what happens to that?
That's bigger than...
2x2 should fit in this.
That's bigger than a 2x2.
Can I look?
Yeah.
But see, that would only give me a bag left then. I don't think it would fit in here because of that. It would fit in there, but I couldn't tote that thing. Not in the winter. Trust me, I'm not staying on my feet.
Maybe you got a yardstick?
But, you know.
Anybody got a yardstick or measure?
Or we'll work with you regardless of either, you know, you put it in there to take it. You know, we're going to have this.
It just has to come, stay cold.
How often does it come? Once a month?
Yeah.
Or once a month?
You know, and right now I take it actually out. I shouldn't. But the transfer station, they do take it, break it down for me. But I don't know if they cut it out or what they do, but they do something.
It's hard to say what they do with it.
Well, I think the last time I actually looked out for you guys too, on Big Trash Day. But that was my only concern, and I'm thrilled to hear about the recycling. I do recycle, but yeah. Anyway.
The other difference too between the toter.
You're right. Wait, she is.
I already have one the size of the biggest one myself.
You have one of the big ones?
I have a big one. But most people in my neighborhood probably wouldn't be able to handle that, but I do a lot of like it to my neighbors.
I would say, you know, like, since we come from a more retired, you know, people put out, other than people that maybe are tending to sick people or whatever, you know, that have a lot of trash, they have maybe a bag out there.
Right.
So, But, you know, bottom line, you can't make people put in there.
No, but I know I've driven around my whole neighborhood on trash morning, and very rarely does anybody have more than two decent-sized bags, 2 30-gallon bags. And I think that would fit at least, well, those bags, I think I'd get probably 3 of them in that.
Yeah, I think three was the middle one.
Yeah.
Now, did you say we were going to put recycling as well as trash in one?
You would have, no, you'd have.
You'd have to keep them separate.
Yep.
Will they pick it up weekly then? Instead of every
We're discussing that, whether it be a weekly or stay with the bi-weekly.
I'll be quiet. Sorry, came in late.
No, you're fine, you're fine.
But for you guys for recycling, even if it was 2 weeks, would that small one work for you for recycling? Yes, for both of you?
Most of them have water bottles.
Yeah.
I hate to say that, but it is.
That would work for me.
Yeah. And that's why we're trying to figure this out. I mean, our first thought was to go with the middle one for trash and another one for recycling. But then we thought about giving that option, you know, if they don't want the bigger one.
You think you'd use a 260s, 265s for recycling in? Do they crush their bottles or just throw them in there with the screw type, a bunch of air?
It's not just water bottles, it's
Can.
Everything. Okay. Okay.
Laundry detergent.
Water, I guess we're
Yeah, milk jug.
We actually probably recycle more than what we throw away.
we recycle more than we throw away.
Yeah. And especially when you get into cardboard.
Yeah.
So,
I get tired of looking at it, so I take it up to the city, you know.
and a lot of that was a trial. I just told the wife and girls, make sure you're recycling everything that we can recycle. That way, get a good
Accurate.
worst case scenario. So, other than that, I think everything's pretty much on schedule for everything, for the trucks and stuff. So, you will have to review the rate at some point and determine what you feel is appropriate, you know, if you would want to do a rate increase to help pay the debt service. I think I sent you guys some information on that recently.
I think I have to be part of it.
Well,
You know, it would-
right now when they're having trash problems in Fort Wayne and other communities, and their rate is 4 times as high as ours or 3 to 4 times as high as ours, I think it's a good idea to go there. Number one, we're going to, hopefully we start saving an employee, workman's comp claims, things like that, lifting up these big cans by moving into the future with that type of truck. Is it your guys' opinion that you think we ought to go with 2 like that or 1 like that? My thought was that there's only 2 or 3 of us in my house, so I'm thinking that's plenty for garbage. And if you went with that other brand and went with that 45 on that, I'd be pretty good shape on recycling. But that's just
They
me.
do weekly recycle or bi-weekly?
Right now it's bi-weekly.
It's bi-weekly, that little one isn't big enough.
Not big enough for Matt. Okay.
Probably it's not big enough for us if it's bi-weekly.
I just think it'd be more, I don't know, maybe just symmetrical, having them both the same size. I mean,
Yeah,
it's gonna
with the
look
different
nicer.
color lid on it. Fine with
And
me.
then if somebody requested another, you could give them that option for the smaller ones?
You would have to set that up when you did your rate increase in your ordinance as to what the second one would be.
That's too much of a hassle, just keep it all uniform.
My only thing with the can prices though, Jeremy, are the companies both reputable companies?
Yeah, very representative.
So the toter brand he's talking about, when you see Waste Management and Republic barrel or cans around,
They are.
they're using toter, the other one.
And you're buying them all on a state contract where they come into being able to play with the prices, with all the surcharges and stuff on the fuel. So that's why I'm very interested in not having to do this in July when we're in the middle of summer and,
Right.
you know, fuel's down a little bit, it appears to be, but it's going to be in July.
Right. I guess I was just looking at the other one that's quite a bit cheaper on the can, and it's a 10-year warranty. I mean, if
This one.
yeah, if it breaks, they're replacing that as long as the company's around.
It's coming around.
I didn't know if they've been around as long as the other one, or
I don't know.
I guess the biggest fear is, are we going to have 1 or 2 break in the first 5 years, or are we going to have 70?
And whose responsibility is it to replace it? Is it the
Right.
homeowners to get a hold of the company and have it delivered there? Or are we going to have a whole new department at the city to handle customer service for their trash can issues?
It would be ours, and I'm telling you, I feel a lot more comfortable with the Toter brand.
That first winter could be hell.
Well, and it's margin of error on the truck drivers end, the collectors end.
Good point. Because I haven't ever seen that operate. Does it squeeze? What kind of tension does it put on him?
Oh, that can goes almost like crushes like a can.
And supposedly when he had it here, they didn't have the tension set right. Yeah, it almost like it was set to pick up that one.
Correct.
And he was grabbing one of the bigger ones. It was squeezing it, like it was really caving it in. Now, he said that the tension needed to be set better, and it was off a little bit. But, I mean, that was the first thing I noticed was, whoa, that's really squeezing that can.
I think it'd be, if you go with the same size can, you don't run into that tension issue either.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
And that was one thing I wondered, if you're picking up two different sizes,
Good point.
is it going to be...
Is the same truck picking up both?
No.
Like different?
It's two separate trucks. It's
Yeah.
identical.
Yeah.
But if you have two different recycling size options,
Right.
then it creates an issue. They're going to have it set. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So, sounds like the smart decision would be go with two of those cans and put a different color lid on it and go with that Toter brand. You say those are the same price as Toter and you get two more warranty?
These are about $8 roughly.
More
Yeah.
for the Toter brand? They got better wheels on it and stuff too, or is it
Better
just
wheels,
the plastic?
better lids. The wall thickness is a lot thicker.
For $10 more over 10, 12 years?
What's the difference in price of that one with the small one?
Less than 5, I think.
But the Toter one wouldn't actually be that small, you said?
The Toter one would be a 45. That one's a 35.
So it'd be 10 gallons more.
So it's going to be just a little bit wider, just a few inches taller.
And at that point, there might not even be that big of a difference. There might not even be that big of a difference to have a smaller one if it's...
Mm-hmm.
Your quoted price then, Jeremy, is that including the shipping or not? Because you've got 64 for this one, or 47 for that one. And
I don't have shipping. See, these are, yeah, the shipping is anywhere from 10 to 12,000.
Give some mints to them.
So you're having that back with me.
Okay.
That's for actual shipping. So your Cascade was originally $267,500. The adjustment from Toter would be the $264,861.40 plus the shipping. So the bottom line is a little less, but we don't know what the shipping is yet. Which I'm not ready to order today. I'm just ready to get.
can they give you an estimate on the shipping?
Yeah, they can give me that. So we don't have the money set up yet.
Right. We don't.
So,
Okay.
What do you think, Scott?
I think we would be able to function off of two of the middle ones. I think my whole street could operate off of one of this. All 4 houses could use that. One stop.
And what you see in a lot of communities with these is they're sitting outside and they're sitting everywhere because people don't want to see them in there
Mm-hmm.
or don't have room for them in their garage.
Mm-hmm.
They can put one of these in their garage pretty easy. You know, it doesn't look like a huge difference.
Sitting up against the wall, it would.
Setting up against the wall and you have 2 of those in there. That's wheel for wheel. Questions, concerns?
So people have a choice. If they don't want to recycle, they'd rather just do it at the drop-off. They can just get the one can, correct?
To start out, we would more than likely, and Dan and I have talked about this just briefly, only pass out the recycle cans. The guys would just go ahead of the recycle truck, and if you're recycling that day, you're gonna get a can. If you don't get a can, then you need to call them and we'll bring you one. That way, we're not giving everybody cans.
That aren't going to do it.
And then nobody, only half of them on that rock's recycling.
Could you do that a couple of weeks just in case they don't get out that week?
Yeah. Yep.
Or call, put on Facebook and such.
And there's 3,000 some users, is that what you...
3558.
And you're talking about getting 900 recycling cans, or?
Probably whatever that email said. It's 7 something, so yeah, probably around 900, so we're not.
Different color lid
Yes.
on the recycle.
Just the yellow lid on top of it.
What color will your can be?
Probably either gray or black. Black. With your,
I may do-
have the city logo.
What?
on
I may
it.
just keep totes and take it myself. I don't want 2 of those in my garage.
Yeah.
I don't have room for 2 of them.
And we're gonna err, I'm sure we will. But a lot of other ones, they don't give you a choice, and
Right.
that's what they drop off at your curb.
Fort Wayne, you do that size, don't they?
No, I think there's 2 of
They
them.
could-
There is a lot of these.
Yeah, Fort Wayne ones are that size.
You sure?
I don't think so.
I think they're that.
I don't know, I've moved a lot of them when I parked my trailer in them.
Dan. Look at our video.
I don't know. Fort Wayne's ones are huge, I feel like they're big.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
I like the mid-size.
I do too. But I'd go with that Toter brand.
Heavier duty one.
I'd go with the heavier trash can.
That's a big one. But
I still like a smaller one for recycling, but that's just me.
I'm the engineer.
I'll just bring it to town. I got a 55-gallon drum in my garage anyway. I'll bring it to town.
How are we determining
I don't mind.
who wants what?
What do you think, Lenny? You live in the city limits.
Whatever.
I like the medium size one.
Small. I want the bigger one.
I recycle in the trash thing, so that'd be a good idea.
So if you say that's the big one, that's what you gotta do when that happens. If you got the little ones.
Right. Well, it might be the small one. Put one in the back of your van and take it up there and size it out tomorrow.
Jeremy, if the plan is to order trash cans for everyone, but not recycling cans for everyone, how are we gonna determine who gets the recycling cans?
The ones that are currently recycling, we will have some extra. And then if this forces more people to recycle, obviously we'll have to.
He said on recycling, there's going to be a truck go out in front of them. Whoever's got stuff sitting out, they're going to put a can there.
Okay.
And then if people didn't recycle that week, they can call and get a
And
can.
get a can? Okay.
And there may be, 3 or 4 weeks if we run out of can before you get more. The guy's, he's going to tell you 4 to 6 weeks, but he says more likely 3 to 4 depending on when you order.
Okay.
I think this will help too. I mean, it seems a little funny you're only giving certain people cans, but this may help on passing out cans to people that don't recycle, and then they start throwing their trash in a recycling can, and then we have to sort it, and our recycling's not going to be as good. The people that recycle already sort. You give people 2 cans, and there's going to be trash in 2 cans.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you only have 684 or 687, whatever it is, out of 3,558, a lot of extra cans out there that they may use or may not use or may use them all. They're going to run out, and like Tyler said, they're just going to fill full of trash.
I think you might want to plan on some extras, though, because I think if people know that you can put it in 1 can, and it'll probably...
Because I don't recycle now, but I recycle if I have that. That's for the convenience setup.
Back to the rates and stuff, Phyllis and I were talking, and you guys can do whatever, whenever, but we will start making that service payments in August on the equipment.
we're gonna order these cans soon,
Yes.
so I think hash it out in June or whatever, we make the decision.
Those cans will be, possibly be paid out of the COVID money, so. We'd have to wait till all that's set up to be able to expend that.
Do you have a tentative date you'd like to launch these?
It all depends on the truck, on the trucks, I should say. The trucks.
When they arrive?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. They have made it through the alteration shop, the Harvester, or International. If they're not in Iowa, they should be between here and Iowa right now.
So we should get them in June or July?
Probably.
When do you think the trucks will be here?
Probably June or July. I would say August at the absolute latest if they run into an issue.
Hopefully transportation doesn't cause a problem getting it here.
You hope to start then pretty much right after they arrive?
Not long after.
I think if we're going to increase rates, we probably need to set it up so that maybe they start in sometime when they start seeing the cans. I don't know if you want to do it right before they don't have anything in their hands. Could be like August or something like that.
When's our first payment?
August 1st.
I think we ought to wait until we find out what the shipping cost is and all those containers before we make a rate increase to make sure we're covering our bases.
If we could set it up to see what it would take to go with the middle ones, and then once we get the
We're pretty much agreeing on the middle size for trash and then the middle size for recycling. Is that what we're agreeing on?
That's where I would be at.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion that we go at that 65 gallon. Is that what?
64.
64 gallon can for our trash and then 64 gallon can for the recycling with a different color lid, possibly yellow.
I'll second.
And do you want?
And I'd like to do it with a heavier container, my personal self. If you guys are okay with that.
Do you want the option for the 45? Or are we just sticking with the 64?
My only concern is if you start having to adjust the pressure on the truck with a 45 and a 64, then, what do we break up 64? Because, one house, okay, adjust the pressure between this house and this house.
But can you ask the salesman if there are communities that are doing two different sizes and if they're capable of doing that? I don't know.
I know the answer to that. That's no.
That no other communities are doing it?
They just stick to one size. I've asked several communities back in March when we were all together. But, like I've said in several emails, if it works for us and doesn't work for somebody else, good for us. We see that we need to do that. But we can always make some adjustments. See, it's a real problem.
The only thing I look at on those 3 trash cans, they don't have the iron bar there on the front where if you'd have to do back pickup instead of squeeze pickup. You know what I mean?
They do offer them. They're just not all there.
Oh, okay. There's holes in it, but there's no
This
bar.
was missing. They just didn't send it with the bar.
Okay.
But we would definitely need it probably a handful of times a year because of the rear pickup.
Okay.
While we run into holiday routes and stuff. Or we have to run out with the rear load that we have for the recycling. Or if the truck breaks down. That's how we would go with this.
How would you feel if you had to pick up that 64 on manual day?
It's not bad.
Okay.
So I'll get you some prices when we go from there.
Okay. I mean, I made a motion. Did you guys want to do that or not?
Tyler seconded already.
Motion second, yeah. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Okay. And then, Jeremy, you're here, so capital improvements for the Rev Sports Complex.
Okay, just a little update on where we're at with Rev. Saturday's opening day, as long as we get the ducks out there. Very wet. It's going to be really wet before that time comes. So the leagues are working for the opening day. We have been doing what we can out there, what we can afford to do, which is been working on the batting cages, the double batting cage. Half of that was sponsored by Buckeye Pipeline. The other half is just paid out of the general donations in the park fund. We're finishing up the concrete and stuff around there. We are also working in the parking lots. Parking out there has been really atrocious. Last year, everybody parking everywhere, parking 3 or 4 deep, trying to get the middle car out. So in the plan itself, I talked to the park board back in February. We decided to go ahead and have Wayne Asphalt get the parking lot up to grade to where everything drains properly, and then start putting the curb islands and stuff in. The curb islands are basically just to correct the traffic flow. Let everybody know where they're supposed to be driving, where they're supposed to be parking. So we're currently working on that. I would say if it ever stops raining, we should have those completed within a few weeks. So that's one of the things that we're working on. At that point, once those are completed, if you guys choose to pave it, it would be ready to pave. If you choose not to pave it, we'll be okay. So
in those curb islands, are they just concrete?
They're concrete, yes. And then we'll landscape, plant trees, whatever on the inside of them to make them look nice.
That was my question. They're going to spruce them up.
Correct. But it's more of just keeping the traffic structure more than anything. So the park board did, they want to keep moving. They want to get out of there and get that place finished as much as anyone. At the same time, you guys, the last couple of years have approved $100,000 out of the CEDA fund for general park improvements. We would like to use around 40%, maybe 50% of that money to go towards sound system and PA system for the park, which I've talked to Innovative Concepts. They gave me a price of $6,500 per end. It's a pretty nice system to where you can do weather announcements, you can do player announcements, team announcements, and also play, radio, play whatever, before, during, and after games.
Would that be located in the concession stands then?
Yes, the speakers would actually be mounted on the building up towards the top of the building, and it's Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, and they're running off the internet. So, making you guys aware of these expenditures because you really need to authorize us to use that money. It's not technically park money. So the first one was the $6,500. We're engaged with the Rotary Club on a grant for up to $3,000, which we haven't heard yet. If we were awarded to go towards dugout accessories, basically benches, helmet racks, stuff like that. You go out there now and there's just stuff laying everywhere. And it looks a lot more presentable. That amount's going to be around $15,000. If we're awarded the Rotary grant, they're paid like $3,000 of it. So we're going to be right around $12,000. Then there's just some other little things that, if everything holds together, we would like to get a portion of that money, portion of that $100,000. But those are basically the two biggest things, that and the concrete islands. So you're looking, the 40, 50,000 range, probably closer to 40. And then basically all we would be down to then is the canopy netting, which we've discussed, and paving the parking lot. Both lots. So to kind of give you guys an idea. I have talked to Innovative. They can probably start on that sound system relatively soon. Park Board did approve it the last meeting, pending your guys' approval.
And if at some point you get the okay on that netting, how quickly does it go up? I mean,
Probably midsummer. Obviously, you know, sooner the better, but he thought, mid to late summer when we were with him last week.
Yeah.
June, July, August.
So the pole's all in place there?
There's a few more they'd have to put in for the canopies,
Okay.
but they can go off of some of the ones that are there.
We designed that to accept that canopy, but we let the rear poles out, so you're just not walking around a pole if you ever decided not to put that in there. Not to put that netting up.
being out
Because
there,
that canopy then it comes back and goes over the concession and goes over that little area. So if you're walking roughly on the backside towards the restrooms, you know, there's going to be a pole there in between there and then back towards the parking lot somewhere. So in lieu of having to put that pole in at construction and everybody walking around it and everybody asking what it's for, and then we never chose to do anything with it, you know, it's kind of a useless pole out there in the middle of nowhere. So all he will do is just cut a square in the concrete, all it down, and we're just concreting the pole back in. Pretty, sounds hard, but it's pretty simple.
I think the only thing I would ask on the dugout stuff is maybe get with the leagues and the travel teams and just see what they actually need, because it's a little different nowadays. I think Kevin and Tyler could probably tell you no one uses just bat racks and helmet racks anymore. I mean, they all have bat bags and they all hang them. So whether it be hangers for those and some other shelving, what's your thoughts, Kevin? What do you see?
yeah, shelving benches.
Benches for sure.
Like I said, I know the girls on any of my teams, they all got bags, they all hang on the fence right there, so it's not the old days with the holes for all the bats, they're all...
Right, and that's what I was thinking early on when we were doing it, is, we need helmet racks and bat racks, but now the more that I've seen it out there, it's like, no one will use them.
I've given a plane a mat, Matt's passed it around. Schultz is what we were thinking, and I just went off what he came back with.
Okay.
I'm not sure who always talked to, but they are the benches. There's 2 benches per
Right.
where you bottom and set on the top.
Yeah.
There's a smaller rack for bats, and then there's the option for the helmets if you shelving, and then the helmets if you chose to do that.
I think the Rotary grant, I saw it, just says dugout accessories, pretty broad.
Right.
So
Right.
I looked at that.
Rotary likes parks, period. HY.
So that's where we are on the project. It's getting there. So starting out, could I get an approval or yay or nay on the sound system?
Yeah, but I don't get a choice.
Yeah, it's really council.
What's that? We still in Board of Works?
Council?
We have to approve that through Board of Works?
No, she just said that would be a council.
Council decision.
So we better
This is money.
You're gonna have to wait.
Well, that's fine.
Is council that?
I've been waiting a long time, Tyler.
Bring up
Okay.
All right. Hopefully that's it.
So we'll bring that up.
Okay, so we covered the trash cans, and now we got the baseball. Sound is what you're asking for in the front
And
end?
that'll be for council.
Okay.
So we'll talk about that. Okay, we're ready to open bids for the painting of the water tower.
Okay, all the advertising and bid documents was all prepared by Dixon Engineering. I got 6 bids.
Wow.
So, very good.
That's good.
Did you ever talk about painting something on that, Kevin? Is that specs go out all as one color? Or?
Yeah, we spec'd it out as 2-tone, and then with an optional maybe putting that V on there. But that's bid separate, or supposed to be bid separate in these, so we can take it out or leave it in, depending on, we weren't sure on what the cost difference would be.
Okay.
We talked about that when Wiley was superintendent. How long ago was that?
He didn't get it done.
Let's get that thing. This
Okay.
There's a lot of paint there.
This was empty.
It was empty?
Yeah. Wonder-
Or did she just open it?
No, I just, unless that came out of there. No?
I don't know. It just came in separate, but I don't know. Maybe somebody opened it by accident.
Oh,
I
it's
don't know.
this one, yeah.
That's
It was
this
still,
one.
this was steel.
Yeah, that.
Okay, that's the same one. So we probably don't need this, do we? Or?
I save all of it.
Okay.
Because they have the dates of when they received them on it.
You thinking that? Yeah. Total, do you want the total price?
Yeah,
Listed?
yeah.
So this is M.W. Cole Construction, and their total bid price is $46,700.
Does that have an alternate for the logo on it or anything, or is that?
He's gonna pay all of it.
So,
Can you take it?
it's supposed to be two, wasn't it?
Oh my gosh, including 1 through 3. So I'm
So
gonna,
that's an interior. Interiors.
yeah, that's the overcoat. Okay, second. We're gonna back
that
this
was
up. Yeah, I read the
That was
wrong
page 1.
Yeah. Total price for all the sections involved. So project total for M.W. Cole Construction is $198,200. Does that sound
And there's the logo.
okay?
So it has, you can take these, you know, you can look at them all, but they do have the itemized, so they have the logo and stuff off.
Yeah.
That's the way it's been set up in bid specs.
Okay.
Okay.
So does that include the logo or?
That has it in there.
Mhm.
That's sweet.
That while you're, I guess that one.
Just trying to get to the bid. So their total bid is $179,400, and this is,
Seven Brothers.
Seven Brothers.
Seven Brothers Painting. But that's
Did
their
they
total
itemize
bid.
it out?
Yeah. I thought I saw it. Listed.
Yeah, so it has it in there, yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's all itemized out, so. There's the paper clip on there.
I don't know where they're pricing at. So this is LC United Painting Company. And I can put it down there. Their project total is $127,000, and then they also have it broken out and itemized. So, LC United Painting Company on that one. So. Michigan.
Like climbing that hill.
Were all the specs in there, Kevin, like for a certain kind of paint?
Yeah. There was like 2 different options of paints. And, I don't remember what they were offhand, but yeah, the spec sheet for this is about that thick on both sides. It's like 200 pages.
They have a warranty for it so long too, or cause
Yeah, I believe it's bills at 10 years. If there's a warranty on, I don't know about the paint, but on the, or not like fading and stuff like that, but as far as performance, I think it was 10.
Alright, that's what it is. Did you hear it? This is Pittsburgh Tank and Tower Maintenance Company. Just got it. The project total is $204,240. So, Pittsburgh Tank and Tower Maintenance Company for $204,240.
This isn't just painting either. Aren't they doing repairs?
Doing some repairs on the inside, some repairs on the outside of the base, pedestal, some welding and things.
this would be number 11.
So this is L&T Painting Company, Inc., and their total bid is $140,800. And again, they've got it itemized out as well.
LT.
Fedwa Inc.
Sure.
FEDEWA Inc. out of Hastings, Michigan. And they have a project total cost of $134,399.
Make a motion that we take this under advisement. Let Kevin get back with us.
Yeah, no.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign?
Okay, Dixon, and, go through these and make sure all the contracts.
There was, one of the guys that dropped them off was asking if he could call in here tomorrow and find out what all the bids were.
Yeah, I can.
So,
That's public record.
you'll have them?
Yeah, I'll have them.
Okay.
We may talk about that growth too.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So, Indiana State Legislature decided to get rid of the utility receipt tax. I'll give you everybody one. What that is a tax we collected for the state. It was based off our water revenue, 1.46%, I believe, but we collected that for the state, paid them every year. They got rid of this tax. So now we need to adjust our rates because when our rate study was done, that tax was included in that. So roughly $60,000 a year we pay in tax. But since that is out, the state is requiring that everybody adjust their rates to take out the utility receipt tax that was figured in. So we need to adjust our rates. They will go down slightly, most likely. Nothing very significant, I can't imagine. And it would just be the water portion of the bill. None of the sanitation, sewer, stormwater, fire protection, none of that will go down. The water portion will likely go down maybe 1%. But we are required to do that before this tax goes away in July. So we approached Crow to use their services. We used them before with all of our financials studies and rate studies in the past. I gave you guys just the last sheet, the attachment, which gives their scope of work, and it's not to exceed $9,000 for them to do this. When I talked to her, she said that was the standard number they gave out, and most likely be far, far less than that. They will probably likely do the legwork and the rate study and then hand it back over to me to figure out how it's going to work, so it won't cost as much. But that's where we're at. So yeah, good news is rates will go down. You may not even notice because it's not very significant.
Before everyone gets too excited, you're looking at an average home going down 20 cents a month. So we're going to spend a lot of money and do a lot of work to get this all done.
Why do you have to do
literally,
a study? Why can't you just...
Not necessarily a study, but when they did the last study, this is figured in, all of our debt services, everything is all figured into our rates. So since this 40 to 60,000 will not be collected by us anymore, that has to be reflected in our rates.
Right. Can't that... I don't see why it has to...
well, basically we just got to make sure we get the math right. If we get audited, to make sure that we did it all right. So everyone's going to have to hire consulting firms to figure it out for them, make sure you do it right. And it's going to save everybody about 20 cents a month.
Could be a little more than that, could be a little
But
less than that.
it's a tax cut.
It's not very significant.
So.
So actually, I'm looking for your approval for me to sign this agreement with them. Dan can sign it, the DocuSign form, so.
I'll make a motion that we allow you to hire Crow Chiswick. Is it Crow Chiswick or just Crow?
Just Crow now.
Crow to take care of the utility study and then give Dan the approval to sign for it.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. We need to make a matter of record the certification of appointment and oath of office for Jeff Sheets as our new fire chief.
I'll make a motion to make that a matter of record.
I'll second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Okay. Also, Jeff, are you guys ready to present your new hire and then ask for permission to send them down to Public Safety Medical for per physical?
I'll try to speak up. We have chosen a young gentleman. His name's Landon Hummer. He is a 2013 Belmont grad. He was a burn firefighter for 3 years. He's been on our department as a volunteer for approximately 9 months. I'm asking permission to send him for his per physical next week and get him started in that process, and then down the road.
Curious, how many applied?
There was a total of 15. Out of the 15, there was 2 gentlemen that were for volunteer only. 3 did not show up, and then we were down, for the aptitude test, we were down to 3 gentlemen. One of those gentlemen failed the agility test, and we were left with 2.
And so these guys also did a different kind of interview this time. They interviewed them as a department, and they also brought in either a chief or assistant chief from New Haven, Bluffton, and Southwest Allen County. So I got to sit on those interviews. So it was neat to have a fresh set of eyes on the 2 candidates, and I think that went over well.
So we need a motion?
Yeah, to approve him to be sent down for his per physical.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign? Okay. Thanks, Jeff.
Jeff, was he a regular burn? I'm sorry, was he a regular burn? He was volunteer down there. Volunteer down there, yeah.
Okay. Do you have anything else for the Board of Works?
How long? Because I think we're postponing Carrie's, right?
Yeah, on the lift station. Yeah, that's part of that. You have anything else? And the UTV ordinance is on the council, right? Okay. That's it.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion is second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign.